Hello and welcome. As a hotel AI expert, I've spent my career at the intersection of hospitality operations and modern performance. It's my pleasure to welcome all the students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. Today, we're going to unlock a core skill for anyone serious about a career in this industry, the B2B sales pipeline. It's really the strategic compass that guides hotels, and trust me, mastering it's an absolute game changer for your career.
So, let's just dive right in. I want you to think for a second about the sheer amount of business a really successful hotel juggles. We're talking about major corporate accounts, huge international conferences, exclusive group bookings. These are complex, high-value deals. So how on earth do they keep track of it all? How do they stop these multi-million-dollar opportunities from just slipping through the cracks?
Well, the honest answer is, without a structured system, the sales environment gets incredibly chaotic, fast. You know how it is. Prospects who seem super enthusiastic 1 minute can go quiet for weeks and then suddenly reappear. Without some kind of framework to organize these relationships, valuable leads get forgotten, communication starts to get sloppy, and potential revenue is just gone.
All of this chaos, it leads to a really fundamental challenge in hotel sales, the huge risk of what we call reactive behavior. This is what happens when a sales team is just operating without a clear process. They end up spending all their time putting out fires instead of strategically building future business.
And this reactive behavior, it has some really clear symptoms. The team just jumps on whatever inquiry is screaming the loudest, right? Meanwhile, that massive annual conference lead, the one that needs careful, long-term attention, it gets pushed to the side. Or maybe a corporate client and a group booking from the very same company are moving along on different tracks. But since there's no system, nobody connects the dots. This is exactly how huge opportunities get mishandled and ultimately lost.
So, how do we fix this? How do we bring order to all of this chaos? Well, the answer is the sales pipeline. And I want you to think of it not as some rigid set of rules, but as that strategic compass we mentioned. It's what gives you direction, clarity, and focus for everything you're trying to achieve commercially.
So what is it really? In the simplest terms, a sales pipeline is just a visual map. It shows every single opportunity your team is working on. It lets you see exactly where each prospect is in their own decision-making journey, from that very first phone call all the way to a signed contract. It really does turn a messy, chaotic process into a clear, manageable one.
And this is the crucial point right here. The pipeline takes what feels completely unpredictable and it transforms it into a structured sequence. It actually mirrors the client's natural decision-making process. This lets you anticipate what they need and guide them forward, instead of just guessing what you should do next.
Okay, so let's see how this actually works in practice by walking through a prospect's journey. We're going to break down the different stages a client moves through, right from their first inquiry until they become a solid, confirmed piece of business for your hotel. Generally, this journey follows 4 key stages. First, there's awareness and interest. That's when they're just getting to know you. Then evaluation and proposal, where things start to get serious. After that, negotiation, where you fine-tune all the details. And finally, confirmation and contract, where you close the deal. So in that early awareness stage, the conversations are pretty broad. See, a client isn't asking for pricing just yet. They're trying to figure out if you're even the right fit for them. Your job here isn't to sell. It's to listen, build credibility, and just establish a good professional relationship. Patience here is absolutely key. Now, as they move into the evaluation stage, the questions get much more specific. You can see the shift, right? It goes from general interest to very concrete needs. This is where you have to coordinate internally with your revenue and operations teams to build a detailed, realistic proposal. Clarity and accuracy here are just critical.
Next up is negotiation. Now, this isn't about one side winning and the other losing. It's about finding an agreement that works for everyone. The client has their priorities, and the hotel has its commercial goals. Here's a little pro tip. Be ready to negotiate on more than just the room rate. Things like flexible attrition clauses for the room block, or maybe adjusting the food and beverage minimum spend, that's often where a real partnership is built. You're trying to find that sweet spot that works for both of you.
And finally, confirmation. The prospect is now a client. The focus completely shifts from selling to delivering. This stage is all about careful documentation and making sure there's a seamless handover to your operational teams. You have to preserve the trust you've worked so hard to build.
Look, having a pipeline is one thing, but mastering it, that's what separates the top performers from everyone else. And this isn't about fancy technology. It's all about professional discipline and building the right habits.
And this chart illustrates the difference perfectly. You see, effective professionals, they update their pipeline every single day with detailed notes.
They review it with their team to get feedback and to make sure the revenue forecasts are based on solid data. The ineffective habits, vague notes, working all alone, that just leads to bad forecasts and, you guessed it, missed opportunities.
Now, to manage all this information, modern hotels use a CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management System. This is the technology that acts as the central brain, right? It's the database for all your client info, interactions, and opportunity progress. It creates transparency and makes sure that critical knowledge doesn't just walk out the door if a team member leaves.
But let me be perfectly clear. A CRM is just a tool. It's only as good as the information you put into it. The technology is powerful, for sure, but your professional discipline, that's the engine. A CRM with outdated, incomplete data is frankly strategically useless.
But when you combine that tool with real discipline, pipeline management becomes so much more than just a task on your to-do list. It becomes a strategic mindset. And this mindset has a huge impact, not just on your hotel's success, but on your own personal career path.
And the rewards that come from this mindset are immense. For you personally, it means less stress and a real sense of control. You're replacing uncertainty with clarity. For your team, it builds collaboration. For your hotel, it makes accurate forecasting possible, which is vital for budgeting and staffing. And most importantly, for your career, it gives you a proven, systematic way to consistently hit your goals.
So in the end, mastering the sales pipeline isn't just a technical skill. It's a professional framework for success. It's that compass that will help you navigate the complexities of our industry with confidence and with purpose. So, your compass is set. Where's it going to guide you?